Why do I want to do welcome, welcome, welcome? Is that copyright?
No, Dax doesn't own the word welcome.
The way that he says it, he owns it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So we can take that.
I'm Dan Shepherd.
And I'm Monica Mouse. No, this is not the Dax Shepherd podcast. This is Sex Sisters in the City.
Day. Time for the jingle.
Welcome to Sex Sisters in the City. Grab your Manolos and martinis from the dirty South to NYC. Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, Samantha. We feel like we know you. Big and Stanford and all the other sub-characters. We'll talk about them sometimes too.
We'll throw it in there.
Yeah, it'll go.
It'll go. Episode 5.
I loved it.
Okay, no, I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't think a lot happened.
So I had my notes were flaming. So
Really?
I have a lot to talk
This is
about.
a Lauren episode, everybody.
Yeah, I really liked it actually. And yeah, I guess we can get into
wrong,
why.
but-
So off the bat, I just have a lot to say about the restaurant scene.
Oh, yes.
Balzac, which is kind of a
Which is an awesome name for a restaurant.
because everyone's thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Balzac.
No, we're all thinking it.
The theme of this episode I liked. It was very sex positive. Sex is power. Women are powerful. I found it interesting, and we'll get into that. Okay, so the first line of the episode: the most powerful woman in New York isn't Dina Brown or Diane Sawyer or Rosie O'Donnell. It's the hostess at Balzac.
Genius way to start out an episode.
It just really dates it.
It really does.
The Rosie O'Donnell.
First of all, Rosie O'Donnell is the most powerful woman in New York at this time, and
and
we
in
all
my
know
heart.
it. And forever.
She still is.
No, she's canceled.
No, she's. Oh, is she?
I think she said something
That checks
about
out.
Nazis. I could be
God.
wrong. Fact check.
Fact
Jamie,
check that.
fact check
Someone
that.
fact check it. It's the hostess at Balzac, the new most popular restaurant in New York. They've been waiting 45 minutes, which I gotta say, not that long for a great restaurant.
No, yeah. And I did want to talk about this idea of the hottest new restaurant.
Yeah.
I think that's still a thing. I
for
think,
sure.
I mean, at least in some cities, I don't know about Atlanta because I haven't been here as long as you, but Dallas for sure. Our dad does restaurants and he's always like, this is the new place. This is the hottest place right now. I'm like, where should we go? Me and my friends go for dinner. And he'll be like, oh, Georgie's. It's all the talk right now.
There
But then
always
in
is.
2 weeks, it won't be. It'll be something else. So I do think that still stands true today.
I completely agree. And there is in Atlanta too. It's got a huge food scene, and I'm always on Eater to kind of find out what it is. And it's impossible to get a table either unless you know someone or you have to book. I remember for my birthday, we went to a place called Little Sparrow, and I had to book my own birthday dinner because I was 2 months out, and I was like, I really want to go to this place, and it has been booked up every night. So yeah, it's completely a thing.
Yeah.
Off the bat, I am just thinking you're Samantha, right? You're the friend that is this is
I
ridiculous.
hate that I'm that way, but I am that way. And I feel like I get to be that way because I've worked in restaurants since I was 10.
Absolutely.
So-
she's not in PR, but she we'll give the listener a little bit of lore. Our dad owns and runs restaurants. It's a big family business. And so I think because of that, we have been afforded to be a bit more critical, and we just notice everything.
We also have to be clear. Our favorite restaurant to go to as kids wasn't Nobu. It was Chili's. So we're not sitting here saying that we're just going to the most fanciest places and complaining.
Speaking of Chili's,
Speaking of Chili's.
I thought, we could tell the story most recently because there was a lot of Morgan was Samantha in the situation at Chili's when we needed a Samantha. Sometimes you need a Samantha.
I'll be the Samantha.
And you weren't.
I'll complain.
So to give the listeners, Morgan just had a birthday last weekend, and she decided, let me do the thing that just is a huge beating to everyone, but it might be nostalgic and nice for me. we can all afford to go to a nicer place, but you really wanted for your birthday for lunch to go to Chili's.
Chili's sponsor us.
Please sponsor us, Chili's. And
even though we're about to talk mad shit about
mad shit. So we went, I think we all knew what we were getting into. So there wasn't extremely high expectations.
I wanted it to be nostalgic because we used to go there all the time when we were kids, and we went to the
Chili's.
same one that we went to when we were kids all the time. So I just wanted, I don't know, I'm getting older. I just wanted to kind of feel like a kid again.
Yeah. We could have gone to like
any other
Six Flags or like something like more
Six
nostalgic.
Flags was closed. I tried.
Six Flags was closed.
It
So we go in, and what happens next is just really strange. So they go around and they take the waitress. She's sweet.
Jessica. We're going to call her Jessica.
We'll call her Jessica. She goes around and she takes everyone's drink order. And then
It's just beer.
it's just beer.
It's either bottled or draft. Very simple.
I got a Corona. I think Greg got another beer. I don't even remember.
You know I'm a Miller girl.
Yeah, I know what you and Brad got. I don't know what Greg got because he was the only one that came promptly and normally.
Which was weird.
She
for
must
some
have just
reason.
had a crush on him.
I guess so.
His. And the thing was, she was typing it into an iPad, so it wasn't like it was written down wrong or anything.
Which doesn't necessarily mean it's not her fault, because she can still put the drinks in. The drinks can be made at the bar, and she's too busy with other things to go grab the drinks. So that doesn't mean that she could still be at fault.
I'll add, this Chili's was not packed
It
at Friday
wasn't.
at noon.
It
not
wasn't.
at all. We were one of the only tables there. Greg gets his, no problem. He gets his in a timely manner within 5 minutes. Our dad asked for an iced tea. He asked for an iced tea with lemon. He gets tea. It is not ice. There's no ice in it. No ice. Which how often have you ever had an iced tea with no ice? And then
I think there's like 2 ice cubes.
Yeah. No, I didn't see any ice.
Oh,
cubes
that's
in it.
crazy.
And no lemon. And he goes, "Can I please have some ice and some lemon?" So she's got to go do that. And then 20 minutes goes by. I don't have a beer.
None of us
You
have
don't
our
a
drinks
beer.
except for Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all wildly hungover
And
too at
we
this
wanted
point.
just a beer. Brad asks. So then she comes back. She goes, "Oh, here you go. It's a Michelob in a can." And Brad's like, "Well, it's on
draft. It says it's on draft, and you said it was on draft when I ordered."
And he asked if it was on
And
draft.
he asked if it was on draft.
So she goes back.
Yeah.
And then she comes back.
This is the craziest thing.
So what you explain it?
She comes back after he's like, "Oh yeah, I just wanted the one on draft." Very politely, she comes back with a Miller, which is the drink that I wanted, in a bottle, and sets it in front of him.
And he's
which
like,
is just crazy. And
"That's
so
not
at that point, I lose it a little bit. I'm not going to yell at her, but I was a little bit like, okay, how did this happen? How did you get here? Let's talk about
we're
it.
25 minutes into the
Oh
experience.
yeah, we already have our appetizer and no drinks. And I will reiterate, we were very hungover.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I asked for a Miller on draft. He asked for a Michelob Ultra on draft. And it seems difficult. This seems difficult that you're not able to do it.
And why is she doing one at a time?
And why is it one at a time? What can you walk us through it?
No one's talking about my Corona.
No,
at
no
this
one's
point.
talking about your Corona.
No one's thinking about
which
it.
should be the
That's a bottle.
easiest thing in the world to get.
Forget about. I didn't even.
You
I was
even
afraid
need,
to ask for a lime.
Oh God, no, we're not asking for a lime. Jesus.
I was just like, well, I don't need it in draft. Just give me the bottle. I'll even open it, girl. Just and for some reason, just the one at a time was really confusing.
No, and she was sweet, and I was trying not to get too upset, but I was just confused, honestly. I was just trying to figure out what the problem was. And then at some point, the manager did come over and was like, "Is everything okay over here?" And I was like, "No, actually, we haven't gotten any of our drinks."
We had gotten all of our food at this point, 2 sets of appetizers and our entrees, and my beer is nowhere
to be
sight.
found.
And I was like, I got a Corona in a bottle. And he goes, "We don't have." I was like, "I don't need it on draft. Just
No.
I would like it in a bottle." And then they come back with a margarita for me, and
So then that's when I get up and I'm like,
She
"All
just
right,
gets up.
I'm going to the bar."
Just
Because it would be, I will pay for it separately. Like I'll pay for it twice just to get you a Corona. Like I was like, I'm going to the bar.
40 minutes in.
I'm going to get you a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking to the bar. I'm almost there. And here comes the manager with an ice cold Corona in his hand. And I'm like, "Thank you."
It
Got up
was
for no
just
reason.
So strange.
But it was everything that I thought it would be.
Yeah, we all got wild combos.
Yeah.
You ordered a veggie burger and you ate meat on your birthday.
I ate meat on my
accidentally.
birthday for the first time
She
in
goes,
probably
"This is
10
cow."
years.
Total veg. You'd had it.
Such a vegetarian thing to say. Excuse me, moo.
This is boo much.
It's so Chelsea and that's so Raven.
Boo much. Greg got the triple dipper and just felt like shit afterwards. Just so bad. Everything. I got the.
There was no reason to go to Chili's.
There was no reason.
This is such a terrible move.
So.
What were we talking about?
So Balzac is not Chili's, I guess I'll add. But they do have someone like Morgan. I was grateful for Morgan when she was willing to get up and go get my Corona for me.
Yeah, I'll always do that.
I was so over it at that point.
I'm never gonna yell at anyone like a service person.
Yell, no.
I won't yell, and I won't ever not tip. You would have to spit in my food for me not to tip you. Like
absolutely.
I
will 20%
always,
no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. But I will give some Karen. Like I will give like a little bit of like, okay, but how did you put a bottled Miller in front of me when we've had this whole conversation?
How does that happen?
So yes, I would be a Samantha in this situation. They can't get sat. The hostess, who's the most important girl in New York, which they kind of are at the most hottest restaurants. Like you kind of got to be in with the hostess to get a seat if you don't have a reservation.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask you, because she said, we're somebody. I'm kind of somebody.
Yeah.
And she's definitely somebody.
I loved that.
I wanted to ask, have you ever thrown around our dad's name in Dallas to get in somewhere?
No. Well, no, because I usually just stick to the same places.
Yeah.
Like I'm so bad about, I need to like try new places in Dallas because I always stick to like my favorite like 4 restaurants and I'll like know people there. And I think that really does help because I won't make the reservation, but like I know, so one of my favorite top 3 restaurants in Dallas is Las Palmas, sponsor us. And I know the hostess there. And so I can either like text her so that's like a prime example of, but I don't throw around dad's name. No.
I throw around dad's name at his restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're at his restaurant.
I don't live in Dallas.
I walk behind the bar and make myself a drink.
Exactly. Because I don't live in Dallas and the new people don't always know who I am. And then I remember one night I was really drunk and I was coming out of a Kai.
Yep. It's always coming out of a Kai.
And someone in the kitchen goes, you can't be
back here.
And I go, I'm Josh Babb's daughter.
And it's always like so angry.
Know,
like they shouldn't know that.
You know who I am.
Yeah. Like, it's not their fault.
So bratty.
So
Just
bratty.
the brattiest thing. And they're like, oh
God.
Step aside. Let me at that fryer.
Love the power. Love the power.
Let me get back there.
You feel like a Kardashian.
If you were in the situation as this hostess where she goes, I'm kind of somebody, what would you do?
Yeah, that's just what I wouldn't.
That wouldn't be a good thing.
I might ask, oh, okay, who are you?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, like
if they were important enough.
But if they were, they would probably know somebody that worked there at that restaurant.
Exactly.
Even if they were like, we're friends with a bartender, that is like, oh, okay, I'll find you a seat.
Hook you
like
up.
if you're friends with someone that works there, like I would hook them up for sure.
Well, if you say I know XYZ, then that's something. But
That's something.
If you just say I'm kind of somebody,
Then I'm like,
it's
what?
What do you mean? And then you figure out she's just in PR.
She's
You're
in
like,
PR. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that
you're
would
gonna-
not have worked. Yeah.
I will also say when I was a hostess, I just lied about the wait time.
All the time.
So I didn't
Yeah.
have to do my job. I'd be like, it's 2 hours.
That's not your job.
And it would be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not my job,
Yeah.
as we know.
Yeah.
I was fired from my first restaurant job because I told a child that it was not
A
my
little
job
girl
to-
comes up to Lauren and she's like, can you get me a to-go box for this food? Lauren leans down.
Nope. Okay.
No? Is that not it?
Okay, so she comes and she asks for a to-go. Not that this is any better, but she comes and she asks for a to-go box, and I go sure, and I go all the way to the kitchen, get her a to-go box,
so you do
and I
go
give
get
her one, and then
Okay.
she comes back and she goes, "Can I have 16 more to-go boxes?" And I'm just like, that feels weird.
a lot.
And then I said, it's not really my job to get you to-go boxes. You should ask your waitress, because I'm thinking this is just a kid running amok.
Yeah. This kid's trying to hoard to-go boxes for what?
She might be making a fort back
The
there.
youths.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So unbeknownst to me, she goes back and she tells her mom, like, the hostess said it wasn't her job to do it. And that mom was definitely a Karen. She laid into my manager and I was fired on the spot.
As you probably should be for that.
Yeah, my family loves that story.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good one.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
And then Samantha says, give me a 20. And then Carrie
That
goes,
would work.
Or do you think I need a 50? And then Carrie says, do you think if I had a 50, I would give it to that girl?
Yeah.
I have a million times overpaid to get in places.
I have.
Have you?
I pay so that DJ will play Kanye. Like, I tip the bathroom attendant. If I've had any drinks, money is not a thing.
And you tip like when maybe you don't even have to. Like they will play Kanye.
They'll do it if I just ask.
You didn't even have to.
I didn't even have to ask.
Yeah, I've paid at concerts a lot. So we went to a Parcels concert and I walked up to the bouncer of the VIP section and I said, like, can I give you $100 to get in? He goes, sure. And then we get in and Greg and I go, we probably could have given him less.
Yeah. 100 is steep.
Like we were like, why did we start with 100?
So, yeah.
We could have done less.
Could have worked your way, probably 20.
I know. And then this weekend, same thing. This Grateful Dead cover band was sold out. I was shocked. Cover band sold out. And I asked the lady, I go, can we pay you to get in? And she goes, 20 a head. And so I give her like $60 per one. And Greg goes, you were not subtle about it. I was like, here you go. I was like holding it out like a fan. And the lady's like, keep it down.
That's her side biz.
And she goes, I'm only doing this for you. And Greg's like, she's definitely not just doing it for
She's
you.
not.
It wasn't just us.
Why'd you say that so sultry?
Yeah.
I'm just doing this for you.
Because we got into it and it was packed. It
Packed.
was way
You
overpacked.
shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, she clearly did that for a lot of people because it was way above sold out.
I was going to say, I love Samantha's jacket when they leave.
Yeah, they both look
They look so
chic.
good. Mm-hmm. Oh, and she goes, quote, if we were men, not only would we be seated, but they'd be sending over free drinks.
Yes, I was going to say that too. Definitely.
I disagree.
Really?
I think that women have it a lot easier in restaurants and clubs. They get treated better. Well, I mean, a lot of clubs, like women get in for free and men have to pay.
I thought she said if the hostess were a man, it would have worked out.
Oh, that I could be wrong.
Because that's what I think. Yes.
Yes. Okay. If that's what she said, then yes.
Because from my experience on 6th Street, being way too young to be on 6th Street, but whoever saw us,
I was with you, which means I was way
too young. Whoever saw us while we were walking down the street, it was like free drinks, come into our club. Like it's that easy. Like, and I never once have ever, growing up in Austin, paid for a drink on 6th Street.
Yeah.
It was just like drinks or whatever, but you would always get a free round. And then when the free drinks at that place ran out, then you just
go to the next
back
place
down the street.
No, totally. I think it's way easier, obviously, for girls. And if that's what she said, then that makes total sense and completely agree.
Yeah, I have. If she were a man, we'd get in and we'd get free drinks.
Yeah.
And then Carrie goes shopping.
She always does when she's in stressful situations.
Yeah, she says shopping releases the creative subconscious.
And we find out that Carrie returns shoes, which might be how she can afford all of those Manolos. But it also doesn't seem like she returns them.
It doesn't seem like she can afford it either because her card gets cut in half.
That's true.
And then she just like shows all her bills. She's not great with money.
She's not good with money.
She's really not good with money.
Who is?
This guy was pretty bitchy too. He was like,
yeah.
And it really is so demoralizing to get your card declined or like it not working. Like there's no worse feeling I think in the world.
But then to have the credit card company be like, yeah, cut her card. This
That's
happens
crazy.
way too often.
Has that happened to you?
Oh God.
But I do know even like paying with a gift card is so embarrassing. Like you're like, I don't know how much money's on here.
I don't know, and then it's always $0.
Yeah, it's like
I've never had a gift card where there's more than $5 on it.
It's so embarrassing, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll pay the rest, and I guess I just really needed that $5.
Yeah, like use it, or even if it's like a few cents, use it.
Yeah,
please.
I don't want to just leave money on the table.
God.
And then she runs into her friend who's got a sugar daddy who just buys her shoes.
Yes.
Amazing.
I love her.
I love her.
She's just a breath of fresh air. She's so gorgeous. She's so chic.
Fabulous.
Absolutely super cool.
I have her as my best dressed for once.
Oh, yes.
Her in this scene.
But not this scene. I was going to say the green dress.
The green dress.
Pull it up. The green dress that she's wearing.
By the way, we post all of our podcasts on YouTube. If you're ever curious about any of the outfits that we reference, you can find them on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Little plug. Yes, she looks great in this scene. It's very Cher. Like, she just looks like Cher to me.
Yes.
She's really channeling Cher.
Yeah. I wrote, we all have that one friend who thinks they're way better friends with us than we actually are. Because Carrie's like, I may have met her once or twice, and she's calling me her best friend. Like,
yeah, that's totally happened a million times.
Yeah.
Or there's just like the friend that you like follow on Instagram.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, it feels like we're best friends, but you're actually
You
not
don't
at
know
all.
anything
You are
about
just
each other.
very nice to it.
Yes.
That was like me and the DJ this weekend.
but I love that. I met a girl like that too at Akai. I don't know what her name was. I forgot
this
it.
girl was just like sitting next to me for hours.
Oh my
like,
God.
We knew each other and we were best friends.
I love that.
Yeah. She was very, those people kind of make the world go round.
Drunk bathroom girls, you know?
Exactly. And then Carrie's kind of mean to her. She
A little
she
bit.
goes, most people would classify Amelita as Euro trash. She just bought you shoes, bitch.
Nailed. Absolutely nailed
You
her.
didn't have to roast her like that. I also have a funny quote from Amelita in this scene. She goes, "He has a tiny little penis."
Yeah,
But he knows-
I read that too.
but he
A
knows
tiny little penis.
tiny little penis, but he knows exactly how to use it.
That was funny. She's very funny. She's my favorite in this.
She's
Amelita.
great. I wish she was one of the girls.
Amelita Stan.
We all need an Amelita. Bills. Carrie's broke. We learn.
Carrie's broke. Carrie, keep writing. Stop buying shoes.
Yeah.
Stop going out.
You need more words on that page. You get paid per word. And then she kind of writes about how she's jealous of Amelita a bit. Where's the line between professional girlfriend and
just
just
professional.
plain professional? A hooker, I suppose.
I suppose. Where's the line?
I was thinking a lot about it. I'm sure you have some thoughts on it.
I don't know. I feel like there's obviously, like, if the only relationship you have with somebody is sex, that might be a professional period.
I also find if it becomes a pattern,
Yeah.
and you exclusively date wealthy men for short
Yes.
periods of time until maybe they're tiring of you.
Yes.
I certainly know some people like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Which nothing wrong with it. Get your bag, girl.
Get your bag.
I'm on the Samantha team with this whole thing.
Yes.
It's like it's all an exchange of power, and if everyone's getting what they want and it's mutually beneficial, then why not? If these men have money to burn and these women have money, want money to spend, and they can use their sexuality to get it.
She says women have the right to use every means at their disposal to achieve power.
Yeah.
And I agree, because they're talking about what did they say about, Miranda calls it sleeping your way to the top or climbing the professional ladder or whatever, and then Charlotte's like, well, that's like exploitation, and Samantha's like, of men, which is totally legal.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I liked that perspective. First of all, them drinking and playing poker.
I put that, why don't we have poker nights? I wrote that.
It's so badass. I am very curious if any woman actually does that. Like, I've never
Play poker?
Yeah, no, of course played poker, but have a girls' poker night. Like,
No, that's so cool.
it's so cool. Like, I would love to do
Like
that.
if someone invited, like if a girl invited me to go just like have beer and play poker, like
with the girls.
with the girls, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a very cool idea. It takes this kind of male activity or something that is kind of typically a male trope and puts it on its head. And I thought they all just looked really cool doing it
Yeah.
too. Carrie's got this like plaid set of some sort. And
She has these little pigtails, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
I put, quote, women can use their sexual power to get ahead whenever possible, but men shouldn't be allowed to take advantage of it.
yeah.
Interesting.
All of their quotes in this scene especially, I thought were very poignant.
Yeah.
very well written and like an interesting concept. Samantha says men and women are equal opportunity exploiters.
Yeah.
And it's true.
I like how they all kind of have a different, they're like like I said last episode, I think they're like the angel and devils on our shoulders. Like they're like our combating ideas that we have within our mind, which is like, no, I have my morals and I have what I think is right. But then I also have like, why am I not allowed to exploit if I'm being exploited at the same time?
It's like a philosophical debate.
Yeah.
Like truly at its core. And a lot of women have different perspectives on this, and there's not necessarily a right or correct one. There's people like Miranda who like detest that idea and are just like, I would not like to be thought of or looked at for my body and like treated as if I were a man. And then there's someone like Samantha who is the complete opposite. Why not use your sexuality? It's one of the few tools that we have.
I don't know if it's in this scene or the next, but she says, sex is power, money is power. Why can't they be exchanged equally?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I'm probably butchering the quote, but something to that nature. And that was like really like, whoa.
It was. I thought like a lot of the ideas in this were super interesting kind of thought experiments.
Because I think that one could say sex might be arguably more powerful than money to some extent.
For men, I think.
Yeah.
I think women using it for advantages with men makes total sense because I do believe sex to men is more powerful than I think sex to women.
Agreed.
And using it to our advantage as opposed to having it almost taken from us and exploited from us is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And then Charlotte asks also an interesting question. What if you sense that someone is giving you a career advantage because they find you charming? Which I think we can both say, like, we've absolutely had advantages in life because someone might find us attractive or charming, or
doesn't necessarily mean we have to sleep with them, or that even was brought to the table. Just they could, like Charlotte said, they find us charming or smart or pretty or whatever the combination of things that this person might, find attractive.
Exactly. Like I think charming for whatever reason. And I think in any job situation, whether it's based on looks or personality or vibe, like I do think it's all about whether someone vibes with you. And I think people who might have a more difficult personality or might not put as much work into their appearance or whatever that means don't have that extra edge. Like I think all these women probably do.
Yeah.
Even Miranda.
Even
if she doesn't want to admit it. Then Charlotte tells her art story.
Yes. So Charlotte then goes on as they're having this conversation to say this might be happening to her. Someone who's a very high standards in the art world, that she's very familiar with because she's an art dealer, comes into her studio and is asking to meet with her. Is that the...
meet with her.
Was that the exchange?
Basically said like, well, how would you like to come to my house
and see some of my collection that isn't open to the public yet?
Yeah. I like how protective Miranda is of her in this moment too. She is kind of warning her to have her, antennas up, to be aware. And then as she's leaving, she goes like, please keep me updated on this because Charlotte can be naive.
Yes.
And Miranda, which is true. I do think, and we'll get into it later when she goes over there, but there is a little bit of an exploitation of power in 100%. This scenario.
Yes. And Miranda, this part, I don't know, it's just so funny. She asked Skipper to pick her up at 11 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock and he gets there early, knocks on the door. Miranda's like, God damn it. Like he's an hour early. And like the girls don't mind. They're just like, oh, that's funny.
Hang with us.
And she's like, they're like, he's like a little baby seal. She's like, yeah, sometimes you just want to club him. And then she goes to the door, opens the door and he's just standing in the doorway. She's like, you're an hour early. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just wait outside. And Carrie's like, no, come in, Skipper. It's okay. Like him and Carrie are friends. Like, and Miranda's like, oh, you guys clean me out. Like I'm gonna go anyways. And she like turns around and you can show this. Like she like bumps into him, and then she turns around. And she goes, You see what I'm talking about? It is just so, like, the comedic timing of that scene is so funny, I think.
It is so fun. I thought the quote. So yeah, sometimes you just want to club him.
So mean.
So mean and so savage.
She loves him.
It's great. I mean, I do think this relationship that she has with Skipper is like totally the relationship I think that a lot of men have with like their side piece. Women too. I've never hated a man this much.
No.
I'm sleeping with.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Where you're just like everything that you're like, God, oh my God, like
Yeah.
just grow up. Like, oh my God.
Sometimes you just want to club him.
Yeah.
She fucking hates his guts.
So then we switch scenes to Carrie's thinks about calling it a short night, and then she gets a call from our girl Amelita. That's her name. I put Amilda.
She's all cozy in bed with her little flannel long sleeve.
You hardly ever see Carrie go into bed early on a Saturday night.
I know.
I was proud of her, and then she can't control herself.
She can't control. And
none of us can.
Who could control themselves?
The girl who just bought her a $500 pair of shoes is now calling her to go out on a Saturday night to Balsac.
To Balsac,
the hottest restaurant in New York. Like, who would say no to that?
And this woman, it just looks so cool when she calls her. She's in that green dress.
The green dress.
She's got a flip phone in one hand and like a long skinny cigarette.
The skinny cigarette with like the thing that they used to put on the ends of the cigarettes.
I have to look up.
I want that. I don't want to smoke it, but I want it in my hand. And then Carrie meets her. She's wearing the new shoes. She looks fantastic. She's wearing the silver platinum dress.
I love the dress.
So
and the
pretty.
Shoes. I really love the dress.
Her hair looks great. She looks great. She's well rested.
Would you wear those shoes?
I would wear those shoes. I like them. I put Carrie meets Gilles. And she's killing it.
She's killing it. Her game is on fire.
She's so funny.
I said at first, I was like, he's very hot. And then
I don't find him attractive at all.
I got very creeped out by him quickly.
Don't think immediately I was like, oh, something's off.
Yeah, that was the thing. She said like uncomfortably handsome.
Disagree.
And I found his features, to then kind of become very off-putting. Like,
I don't know what it was, but I was not in that.
Something was off.
Something was off.
Him. I completely agree. He just had like a creepiness about it.
Yeah, I agree.
They leave, and the way her dress is blowing in the wind.
She looks so good.
Outside
that little
of the
like
museum.
coat thing she's wearing.
Oh, I love that coat. She's kind of switching into what seems like spring at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoy it.
Effortlessly.
And then there's a lot of weird cuts. Okay, so I want to talk about two cuts. In between the scene where she leaves her place and goes to meet Amelita, it's like a shoe cut where it just like switches to the next screen in the shape of a shoe. And it's very weird.
Okay, I guess I missed that.
This director is taking chances.
Weird.
Because there's a couple weird cuts in this. That's the first one. And then the next one is as she's leaving her date, she just starts floating into the air.
That was weird.
It was so weird.
I was like, what's happening?
So strange. Like, I'll have to look up, but it seems to be maybe a new director or something.
Very experimental.
Because there's a couple very experimental takes. The shoe transition, I'm
going to have to rewatch that.
If you're watching on the YouTube, I'll play a clip, but it is just very bizarre.
Yeah. I put, this is the first time a man asks Carrie to go to Paris with him.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And I won't spoil anything, but she gets asked to move to Paris multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times she gets asked.
As she should.
As
she belongs in Paris.
She does. And she has never been. She, as far as we know, doesn't do a lot of traveling, actually.
Yeah.
She likes New York.
I love that she said there's red flags and being French is one of them. I thought that was just a funny thing to add.
I do completely
agree.
Actually.
Absolutely.
In terms of accents, I don't find the French accent to be sexy to me. I think it's sexy.
It doesn't do anything for me.
I think it's sexy on women. I don't think it's sexy on men.
I think if you can speak French, that's hot automatically.
I think anyone knowing another language is hot.
That's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yes.
Bilingual's hot. We said it.
Who?
Bilingual,
Bilingual is
trilingual.
hot. And I will say when Timothy Chalamet speaks French, it's it's very hot. But in terms of the accent,
Yes, oh.
les Swissons.
Then I agree.
Oh, Skipper shows up at her house.
I just went, that nightgown is wild.
Oh, that's a whack nightgown. It's like a full-on muumuu.
It looks so comfortable though.
It's so out of character.
It's out of character for her, but I want to wear it. I kind of want to wear it. I kind of love it.
That's so funny.
It's kind of awesome.
It reminds me, Dad got us this thing. I think he got you one. It was, for some reason, he's in the loop on like Oprah's favorite things. I don't know why.
Yes.
And he goes, I'm sending you something. It's a part of Oprah's favorite things. He must have seen it on 60 Minutes or something.
And it was like a muumuu.
And it was like that. It was like a turtleneck muumuu made out of blanket.
It was very, very comfortable.
I wore it a little bit, but I felt so ugly in it.
It's like, it would be like wearing this nightgown. I'd be like, God, I'm hideous.
It's like hideous.
Oh my God. No, it's crazy. And and then Skipper shows up.
Is it possible to be addicted to a person?
Yeah, that was so cute.
I can say yes.
Definitely.
I think everyone gets addicted to a person.
Yeah, I think I've definitely had these like experiences where I'm kind of in a little bit of a crisis mode where like I feel like, oh my God, I was the overbearing one. I'm the obsessed one. Oh God, I've ruined everything. I know. Like I feel like we've all been there. Maybe it's just me and Skipper. I don't know.
Mostly we just have sex in the afternoon and I can't spend the night.
It's so funny to me.
And then he says, I don't even shower afterwards because I like to spend the whole day smelling like Miranda. That's like down bad.
God, Skip.
But I've been there.
Skip.
Really just with Greg, my husband. Thank God he liked me back. Just kidding.
Like, oh God.
But I can relate to that feeling of when you had like when you smell someone on you and it's like very comforting.
Yes.
Maybe not like I don't shower after sex, but I know like the feeling of smelling a person on you.
Or like not like if you have a t-shirt or something from a guy and you don't wash it. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I
use it as a pillowcase.
Whoa.
Not like that. Just like just put your
putting it around your pillows.
God.
My dog does that with my stuff. He loves the smell of me. He's just
put a picture of Todd up.
Okay, picture of Todd.
Moment of silence. We got best dressed for the next scene.
Okay.
Were you not done with Skipper?
I just want to note she immediately washes her hands after he says that, which is pretty funny.
Hilarious.
He's a side piece.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now best dressed. I agree. I wrote this down. Gilles date in the park. Gilles. Blue boa. Amazing dress. It shouldn't work, but it does.
Shouldn't work.
Like if I wore that, I'd look like crazy art teacher. Mm-hmm. But
florals for spring, groundbreaking.
Boa's crazy.
The boa's crazy.
Blue boa in the park.
I love it.
It's really cute.
I love everything about this outfit. I think she looks so good. Her hair looks good.
I like the way her little like half updo, half up, half down.
Love that look on her.
It's so cute.
Yeah, because you can like it really brings out like her high cheekbones. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
her jawline is
crack an egg on it.
Good. Yeah, adorable date. She looks fabulous. I love it so much. And then they make it to the hotel room, of course.
Oh yeah,
a day in Central Park.
Yes.
What do you think?
So they make it to the hotel room. She's like, "Well, I have a rule. I don't sleep with a guy I've only known for a day." And she decides.
Is that a rule?
It's not a rule.
I don't know. If
that's what I would say to Jules if I was with him. God, get me out of there as quick as possible.
Pervert.
Get off of me.
His jawline is crazy.
Pervert.
Yeah. Creep. Your creepy accent.
Scram.
She doesn't want you.
No.
His jawline is also great, but in a creepy way.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is about
he,
him.
in theory, should be very good looking.
Yeah. Something's off.
So she sleeps with him. They spend the night at the hotel. She wakes up and he's like, okay, I gotta go. I'm going to Paris.
First he says, you look so beautiful when you sleep.
Yes, that was nice.
No one's ever told me that.
No one's ever said that. I don't think anyone's ever said that to anyone.
People actually say that.
And if they do, run.
People say the opposite to me. They go, whoa, you turn into a creature. Yeah, no, people actually tell me the opposite. They say, you turn into an otherworldly person. You're beautiful in the day, but at night.
In the day. You kind of do.
What happens when you sleep?
He's got to go. And she's like, oh, God, like, you're just going to leave me here? And she's like, oh, it's kind of weird. She's like, no, let me get dressed. Let me get up. He's like, no, you stay in my hotel room and order room service. Awesome.
Great deal.
Are you kidding me?
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Sleep in, order room service? Absolutely.
I'm so in. This is the ideal situation.
Ideal situation until she looks over and there's an envelope on the nightstand with Carrie written on it. She looks inside and the note says, thank you for a wonderful day with $1,000 in cash. I think I audibly gasped when I saw that.
It's like a bittersweet.
Very bittersweet.
I can't
first,
imagine
my first reaction would be like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Going shopping.
$1,000. That's amazing.
But then my automatic second reaction would be like, oh.
Oh.
That's what this was.
He thought I was.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But is it that bad?
No.
No.
I've done more for less.
I mean, come on. She's freaking out, which I get it. I would be for probably 2 seconds, and then I'd be like, never going to see him again.
And I would do the same thing. I'd invite my friends to come have room service. And be like,
Yes.
he's good for it.
Yes. She invites Miranda and Samantha to come have room service with her.
Because you have to tell your friends about
You have to tell your friends about
immediately.
this. And I love that I love when it like switches scenes and they're there. I'm like, yes.
I was so happy when I saw they were there. I was like, amazing. She's in a robe. She's already made herself comfortable. She's clearly getting comfortable with this. She wraps herself up. Samantha is so jealous she got into Balzac. She's like, you got into Balzac?
got into Balzac?
You buried the lead.
Yeah.
Sam's always the most enlightened. So yeah, this is where she
says that sex is power, money is power. So it's just an exchange of power. That's when she says that.
And I loved it. I thought, like I wrote it down as well. I thought it was a really interesting way to look at the whole thing. And then leave it to Miranda to just come in and she's telling her about...
How could you say that?
Yeah. Well, and she's telling her about Amelita. And she goes, she's kind of an international party girl.
Yeah.
And she goes, sounds like a hooker with a passport. Didn't have to drag her like that.
God, absolutely nailed.
Left no crumbs.
No.
Poor Amelita.
Poor Amelita. That's our girl.
Amelita doesn't care.
Don't you ever say anything bad about Amelita. But you're right. Amelita doesn't care. Amelita's a good time girl.
She would not care.
And her and Miranda wouldn't get along. And I don't blame Amelita.
I don't blame her at all. This is where we see Samantha and Miranda kind of get into a little fight.
Yes.
You don't see them fight often.
You don't see them fight often because I think they kind of know that they're going to, because they're both such strong people. Mm-hmm. So they're both very
successful women.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like hard-headed.
Stubborn.
They're both very stubborn. They're like set in their own ways.
Yeah.
Like at least for Charlotte and Carrie, they're both kind of like sweet, but they also they're good at listening.
Yeah.
And Miranda and Samantha aren't. They're going to speak their minds. They're going to say what they're going to say. Mm-hmm. So I kind of liked how you got to see them come together a little bit more in this scene.
Because you don't often see squabbles within the group.
Yes.
And I like how Carrie kind of was like, all right, guys.
Come on.
Cut it out. Yeah. We all have that glue in the group that is just like, it's not that deep. Like,
and that's when Carrie finally said, she said, I'm just going to look at this as a date with perks or whatever she says and move on.
Yeah, she said like a bad date. She's
or
like,
a bad date.
As a bad date with a perk or something.
With a perk, yeah, and move on.
Which I think I would.
I think that would be the best thing to. There's no reason to. She didn't ask for the money.
Yeah.
She didn't, I'd say it's a win.
Yeah. She can buy some shoes with that.
So sue us.
Then we get to Charlotte's storyline.
She looks great in red.
Amazing in red.
She looks very good in red.
Always has the best blowout. She's got her hair.
Her hair is the dream.
It should be studied how great her hair is.
It's the dream.
It's gorgeous.
I want to know. Actually, do want to research that a little bit to see if that's all real.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think they made fake hair that good back then. It's because it's too thick and short.
It's so
not
good.
Like it's really good hair.
There's something about this suit that I love it. I love the color on her. It doesn't look like it's fitting great on her. It looks a little big, but that also was kind of the style. And that time to have a little bit bigger
Yeah, I
But-
like it's very oversized. The shoulder pads feel a little bit like 80s reminiscent.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit too 80s for me.
I did like it though. I thought she looked great in
color
red,
is
and
great.
it felt very professional. It was like she's there on it for work, you know. And this man looks pretty cool too. I wrote down him in his pink sweater.
Kind of looks dope.
He looks like a cool old artist.
So he's there at Neville's like farm or something, and he's the very successful artist that she's super excited about meeting, and he wants to show her some exclusive first look paintings that he hasn't shown to the public yet.
I love this part actually.
So they go in the barn or whatever they're in, and he turns on all the lights, and all of the paintings are vaginas, which he refers to as cunt,
The C word.
which I hate.
I hated it.
And they say it so many times in
say
this scene.
so many times. I love what he says before it exposes them. He says, This is the closest I've ever come to pure universal God force.
Love that.
And then he says, the cunt.
And then he ruins it.
I love that, like, it is kind of beautiful the way he describes it other than that word.
Other than that.
He says, the source of all life, pleasure, and beauty. Truth is to be found only in the cunt.
Can you believe that every time that we say it?
It's a really bad word, especially when his wife says it.
Ugh.
His wife enters.
I put immediately run.
Yeah.
I would if I saw that.
You're in a scary barn.
Yeah. You're in the middle, probably the middle of nowhere. It's a farm. It's probably in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And if I walked in there and saw that, I would leave.
Yeah, as he's describing this. And again, if you're really like an art dealer and you're still very interested in this, maybe you power through that moment.
Maybe.
But then when the wife
Comes in.
and he says, would you consider posing? And the wife said, dear, I bet you have a beautiful cunt.
Nope. Run.
That's when you,
I'd run. Especially the pink lemonade. That's Rufalin.
oh yeah, absolutely.
You're going to bed.
No, they're scary together.
Oh, they're scary. That's a horror film.
It's a horror film.
Yeah.
And I love it's so Charlotte is just so sweet and naive
like-
and she's just like,
I don't know. Yeah, no. I put poor Charlotte.
no,
She keeps getting herself into these situations.
that did not age well because that is crazy.
No, that's insane.
That is an abuse of power.
Crazy.
It's horrifying to
No.
think about being in a barn with an old man
No.
who's asking you to like. That's really scary.
Jump scare. That scene.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Didn't age well.
No. Now we're back at Balzac.
Oh, yes.
They both look great. Carrie and Samantha enter.
Yes. They look so good.
Carrie's in a snake skin.
She looks so good.
Bodycon dress. Samantha is in this beautiful off the shoulder black kind of top. Looked a lot like the top you wore last week, except in black.
I couldn't pay attention to those because I was too busy looking at the hostess's crazy hat.
She's in a crazy hat.
What
in
is
every
she
scene.
doing?
Every single scene they show.
That was the
her.
first one I like really noticed it. I was like, what is? Take that off, girl.
Whose decision was that?
No.
Like every time we show this hostess, she's going to be in a more absurd hat than the last
The
time.
hat just keeps getting worse.
Than the last
Bigger
time
and
we
bigger.
saw it. It
Yeah.
was bizarre. She's very pretty though.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote hostess always in a wild hat.
Wild hat.
And Eurotrash is there.
Eurotrash is there. Our girl, Amelita.
Amelita.
She's like, Carrie, come on over. My friends are here. Carrie.
Daddy.
So she goes over to the table with Eurotrash and the very wealthy men that are all with her.
An eclectic group she's got
Eclectic
there.
group.
Wealthy European men.
And she says we're all going to this film festival in Venice Film Festival, and we'd love for you to tag along. Oh my God. Instantly. I'm gone.
What a treat.
I'm going.
Venice Film Festival.
Absolutely. I don't care who these people are. It could be a Blink Choice situation. Don't care. I'm going.
All I know is that they're rich and they're attractive.
I would just want to go to the Venice Film Festival. That'd be so cool.
That is the coolest thing.
That'd be awesome.
Ever.
With them, yes.
And then Carrie says, I could register myself as the human equivalent of a sexy junk bond. I don't know what that means. Sexy
Ooh.
junk bond.
Do we have a worst quote category?
Yeah,
because
that-
we're starting one.
Enter that into the worst quote because it makes no sense to me.
I thought it was funny when he was like, "Have you ever been to Venice?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, it's beautiful. I love it." And she goes, "I heard it's sinking."
So snarky,
So
Carrie. So snarky. This is another weird cut where all of a sudden it gets like slow-mo panning.
It does the weird, slow-mo, pull out the camera thing.
I thought she got roofied too. I was
It was
like, what's
odd.
happening?
Oh God. And so the guy like puts his hand on her butt, and then that's when she's like, "All right."
I respected her for that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
She's like, get out of here.
Yeah. And she didn't like hit him or push him
She
or
just kind of
just like moved his
politely
hand and
moved
she's
it
like,
off.
"No, I gotta go. My friend's at the bar."
Yeah. Have you ever had a time? I mean, I don't even have to ask, I guess.
Last weekend, Greg defended my honor.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll show a little bit of the video. But this guy just wouldn't, this isn't a situation like that, but this guy just wouldn't get out of my face. I'm doing karaoke and Greg just throws him to the ground. Greg is Lauren's husband, throws him to the ground. Hilarious.
So not my sister.
But definitely, oh God, yeah. Like, especially bars. It's just like when you meet someone through someone else, they kind of think that they already know you and are like comfortable with you to like put their hands on you, and you're like, "I don't know who you are. Just met you 5 seconds ago."
Yeah, I had a situation like that in Chicago a couple years ago.
Oh.
I met up with some friends, and one of the guys just like puts his hand on my knee. It's like 2 a.m. and he puts his hand on my knee, and I just like took it and I just
like,
placed it back
move
on
it.
his lap. Like
There you
we're
go.
not doing
We're
that,
not.
sir.
No.
And then of course, any crowded bar, you're just getting ass grabbed.
The whole move.
It's just part of being a
gonna
woman.
I'm gonna move you with my hands, but my hands are on the way bottom of your waist for
Yeah.
some reason.
That's always like, it's just part of being a woman. A man is, if he's trying to get by you, he's going to grab your waist.
Going to think that he can just put his hands on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it goes. But she just says, yeah, I'm good on this.
Yes.
She goes to the bathroom. She's ready to leave. And then the most powerful woman in Manhattan asked her for a favor.
The hostess with the mostest asks Carrie for a tampon.
Miss Funny Hat.
And man, if you are in the bathroom and you need a tampon, whoever gives it to you is your new best friend.
Definitely.
I mean, I will do anything for that girl who gave me a tampon in the bathroom. Anything that you need.
The woman who goes to the bathroom with tampons on deck.
Yes.
She is the backbone of this country.
Yeah. She's a hero.
A woman who freely gives out tampons to women in need. That's
all I need to know
I
about
never
you.
do because I never have one.
No, and that's why we're bad people.
We're bad people.
I always need a tampon.
You
Always.
If we could have a tracker on how many times you've asked me for a tampon in the last
I never
year,
have them.
probably
I
10
just-
plus times.
I don't carry
You
them.
don't have them, and yet
I
you're
don't.
always on your period.
Always. I'm on my period like 5 times a month.
On your period so hard. And I don't have a period, so I never have anything to give you. I'm just like, oh, how do those go again? How do those work?
And there I am, just in bathrooms,
Yeah,
screaming.
you're the
Yes.
most powerful woman in Manhattan.
I'm the hostess.
You
Yeah.
have nothing to exchange, though, typically.
No.
And
Except
they
a
get a
hug.
table.
Yeah, and they get a table.
Carrie says, I never tell Samantha how I
Yeah.
did it, which I can't believe that. I feel like,
I would immediately be like,
Samantha's
bitch, ask me for a tampon. We're in.
yeah, exactly. Samantha, and Samantha's like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do this?
Yeah.
Because Samantha loves status. Like,
Yes.
she's so into status.
I love how she tells the hostess before when they get there, she's already been here. Like, that's supposed to, like, get them in.
She was here yesterday.
Yeah.
If someone said that to you as a hostess, you'd be like, okay.
Okay.
So she was here
Yeah.
before. Then we have a cut scene, another wild cut scene. Miranda's fuck ass Bob from the back. Did you notice this?
No.
We're playing a
Are you-
clip right
oh my
now if you're watching on
God.
YouTube. It's literally the most fuck ass Bob you've ever seen. And it just
What?
follows her Bob from the back for 10 to 15 full seconds. And I'm just like, oh, I know that's Miranda. Because you can't even really see the color because it's so dark. And it's bizarre. Miranda's hair looks crazy.
Crazy.
She looks pretty in this episode, but how she does her hair at the art opening is
yes.
not.
Okay. Now I remember.
She's wearing this
bad
suit and this statement necklace with it.
Miranda looks great in this episode too, but it's the way they styled it. It does not look good.
The definition of a fuck ass bob.
Fuck ass
It's
Bob.
So
no, I know
bad.
exactly what you're talking about. Okay. Yes, we switched to the art.
Charlotte looks beautiful. This was almost my best dressed, although
so
it was
good.
too simple. Lots of good fashion in this episode. Like a much better fashion episode.
So all the girls are there to support Charlotte on this big art exhibition at her place, and it's all the vaginas.
All the vaginas, which I actually like the paintings.
I think they're
I'll be
very
honest.
nice.
I think they're like, I would hang that in my house.
No, I like them a lot. And then they're all trying to guess which one is Charlotte's, which I think is so adorable.
Charlotte is so adorable.
She's so cute.
Just like, no,
No,
not that one.
No, God, no.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And then when they see it, she's just like beaming. Like, so it's revealed, I guess, that she did pose.
She posed, which is the last thing you would expect Charlotte to do.
It's crazy to me that she posed.
In the name of art.
That's how you know Charlotte really is a down ass bitch. Like,
She is.
People don't give her enough credit for how like progressive and liberal she is and like free she is, sex positive. Because doing that, I would never. I don't even think Carrie. Well, Carrie would. I don't think Carrie would.
I would be too embarrassed. I would be.
I would be way too embarrassed.
I could never.
I don't even think.
I want to know. I want to think that I would do it, but I know that I wouldn't.
I mean, and this was a man she didn't know, a creepy old man. If my best friend or if my husband even were painting a picture and needed me to just sit there and pose wide-legged for potentially hours on end, no.
Would you give a picture to go off of?
I don't think so.
I don't think I could do it. Are we bad feminists?
Yeah, I don't want a picture like that floating in the ether.
Well, they're very like abstract. Like you could.
Oh
like,
no, the painting.
You mean literally the picture?
The picture
yes.
that I took to give. Like I wouldn't want that to exist
floating around. Yeah,
anywhere. I've taken a compact mirror and checked it out before. It's not an angle that
no
is
one wants.
fun.
No. God, no.
But it's the source of life, and it's the closest he's ever come to a pure universal God force.
No, it's beautiful, and I want to
support
be
it.
Charlotte in that moment. I dream of being her in that moment.
You got to be very confident in your junk.
God, good for her.
Good for her. And then that closes the episode.
Yeah, pans out
very
on
cute.
Charlotte's vagina. It's great.
And you're just like, yeah, that is cute.
It's cute.
A good one.
Yeah.
The
Awards
time.
Award season is upon us.
We'll start with who won the episode.
Charlotte.
You say Charlotte.
I say Charlotte.
Yeah, I think I said Carrie, and then I wrote all the girls actually because they all kind of won.
Yeah.
I think Carrie kind of won because she had fun sex, she had a good date, and soon she got $1,000, and she got free shoes.
And Amelita kind of won the episode too.
Amelita.
She's going to Venice Film Festival with a really rich guy.
Yeah, I said all the girls really won.
I agree with that.
Yes. It's like one of those rare episodes where they all had a good time. Who lost? Skipper. Skipper always loses these days. He won the first one. He won the pilot, but
Yeah, Skipper.
Skipper's he's down bad. Best outfit. There are so many.
Gotta say one, and it was hard for me, especially going back over it. I think that green dress that Amelita's wearing, I think it's just so sick.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love and it's like a set. It's got like a jacket.
Because I was going back and forth between that one and then Carrie's floral dress.
I love Carrie's outfit, and I did want to pick Carrie, but I'm going to pick Carrie a lot in the future, and I choose Amelita as well, but I choose her outfit at the shoe shop.
Dolce, yeah.
Her outfit at Dolce is I literally was Googling photos of Cher because just looked like something so iconic. Her hair with like all of the colors, it was so flattering on her skin tone. I was like, this bitch is fabulous. Worst outfit, I said Miranda's fuck ass bob, statement necklace, and blazer at the art opening.
Well, I was gonna say the moo but I kind of love it.
The moo.
So wild.
We didn't mention this, but Carrie's kimono at the art opening was like, it was a risk.
It was a risk. It was.
It was a risk. I think she rocked it, but it was absolutely a risk. Best quote. There's a lot.
I think when Samantha says sex is power, money is power, so is it not just an exchange of power?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a really simple like idea that kind of makes you think a little bit.
It stuck for sure. I had that written down. And then I also have men and women are equal opportunity exploiters.
Yeah.
And I liked that one.
I like that.
Yeah, I think everything that came out of Samantha's mouth this episode was kind of philosophical and interesting and good. What aged the worst? It's the creepy artist, I think.
The creepy artist, but there was something else that aged the worst. I think what aged the worst was probably the Gilles. I guess maybe he was attractive in the 90s.
Him and his creepy jawline.
I don't know what that was about.
He was weird vibes.
Yeah, weird vibes for sure. What aged the best?
I have sex positivity. And applauding women who use their sexuality to their advantage.
Say it louder.
Say it louder. In the back.
Oh, I put shoulder pads. I don't think shoulder pads are. For what aged the worst? I'm going back and forth. I don't think they aged well.
Oh, shoulder pads you don't think aged well.
That was what I was going to say. But aged the best. Yeah, I think you're right.
Sex positivity.
Yeah. I just think that everything they were saying, like it could have gone so far south and it didn't. Like
it didn't. They were once again very like ahead of their time.
It was a girls episode for sure.
Who was the most toxic? Miranda.
Maybe Gilles.
Yeah, probably Gilles.
Leaving $1,000 on the nightstand.
Yeah, but I do have Miranda again.
Miranda, definitely. She's so mean to Skipper.
And then she's very mean about Amelita. Sounds like a hooker with a passport.
God, never speak of Amelita.
We love her. Was it feminist?
Absolutely.
Yes, totally. And then what's your overall rating?
Wasn't my favorite episode. Like I said, I think it was a little slow. I loved like the message behind it. I loved poker night. All of that. I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Damn.
Yeah.
I have a very good rating for this one. I have an 8 out of 10.
I think it's because you're just more mature than I am.
I think last episode was very unstimulated by the fashion. In this one, there was a lot of fashion and there was a lot of, I just had a lot to say, I guess, about this one. So I give it an 8, which is my highest one. So
that's what I gave last episode. Yeah.
There we are.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week for episode 6. Yeah, and that's how it's done.